Hi and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to talk about the mood of resignation. The mood of resignation is similar to the mood of resentment in that we're opposing something. In resentment, what we did was we opposed the past or even the present, like all of the circumstances that are surrounding our life right now. In the mood of resignation, what we're doing is we're actually opposing the possibilities that may exist in front of us. So forward-looking, future-oriented actions and possibilities are what we oppose when we're in the mood of resignation. And like the mood of resentment, like all the moods, resignation is built upon by a series of emotional experiences that have over time closed off the possibilities that are available to us, that have really narrowed our focus, that have really shut out what we can actually see forward. Here are a few examples of what somebody might say if they're in the mood of resignation. Why bother? Oh, it'll never happen to me. I'm just so unlucky. Oh, it happens to everybody else, but not me. Oh, boo-hoo, poor me, and all sorts of other kinds of terminology that are related to, in some ways, just beating down upon yourself. And so the other mood, the other emotion that's kind of related to resignation is the emotion of guilt, of the emotion of shame. Because in guilt and shame, what we're doing is we are breaking standards that have been placed upon us by other people or even ourselves. And so resignation is closely related to guilt and shame, where over time we are not good enough, or we were always called stupid or something like that, that prevented us from reaching our maximum potential. The mood of resignation also is about resisting and denying that even possibilities may exist. In some sense, it squashes hope. But in some other sense, it's also kind of hopeful, because it's hopeful that we are going to maintain the existing situation for as long as possible. That is to say, sometimes in resignation, we think we hope for something better to come along, but we don't do anything actually to change the present circumstances. So it's very interesting, the interplay between resentment and resignation and the energies that are involved. Once again, just like with resentment, there's nothing wrong with resignation. There's also nothing good or right with resignation. This mood has a certain energy and a certain series of actions and possibilities that allow you to take certain actions. At the expense, of course, of certain other different actions. A close relative of the emotion of resignation is fear, anxiety, and of course frustration. Because frustration, I think, is a very fascinating emotion, because the story of frustration really is about, oh, it should have happened already when it hasn't yet. So you're expecting something to happen to you sooner than it has happened, or that it's going to happen, or that it'll never even happen. But there's an expectation that the time between when it should happen and when it actually is happening is not congruent with who you are. So the mood of resignation is quite powerful in that it leads you to take certain actions that may or may not benefit you and your current situation. What it does, it prevents you from looking at the future possibilities and the future actions that are available to you. Another emotion that I think is helpful to take a look at resignation is the emotion of nostalgia. When we get older, we say things like, oh, back in my day, da-da-da-da-da happened. Sometimes that can be a good thing, especially if we want to pass on certain qualities or certain standards to a younger generation, to a different generation. But if taken in the context that life was better back then, that means that we are preventing ourselves from looking at life getting better moving forward. So you see how this interplay between resentment and resignation is very interesting, especially because we are opposing either the things that happened in the past or the things that are going to be available to us in the future. So what I invite you to do in the worksheets really is to take a few moments, maybe 10 to 15 moments, and just reflect upon the situations in your life that have given rise to the mood of resignation in your life. Now, this is not a good thing or a bad thing. It's just an invitation to notice where resignation shows up in your life. And of course, just like resentment, what we do to overcome resignation is we overcompensate. We do things to excess. So look at where you do things to excess. Do you do things out of a feeling of obligation, out of a feeling of shame, out of a feeling of guilt, out of something that you really don't want to do, out of feeling that you are owed something by the world or that you are owed something by other people or something like that. Where in your life does this mood of resignation show up? Not only that, I want you to notice where and in what areas of life this shows up for you. And if you do have any questions regarding this, please don't hesitate to jump in onto the forum where I'll be waiting for you to be a source of support. So take care of yourselves, have a beautiful day, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye for now.